this weekend on KBC Channel 1.
Hey, asante sana. You know, they say, if you want it, you work for it. I still can't believe my eyes. Why? What is wrong with your eyes? What are they telling you?
Julia.
Yes.
Julia.
Yes, useme kile unataka kusema.
Define some things more.
I am safe. Sisia, I've got you, my brother.
Hey, at you can strike because you cannot eat within the school compound. You low-class people have issues.
You thought I wouldn't find out, didn't you? How dare you people mistreat another teacher? A teacher who is only here trying to help you drive out ignorance. Everyone down!
Classmates, every Saturday on KBC.
Nairobi City has experienced a tremendous transformation in water provision as part of the war against the spread of coronavirus.
Tangu tanki letu hapa nyuma yangu nimefaidika sana.
93 boreholes in 3 months.
We had quick interventions.
We had water drilled, sunk, running out in a record 2 weeks.
We have over 14 million liters per day that has been brought into the informal settlements.
Find out what this means to livelihoods and the war against the COVID-19 pandemic. A Chams Media production this Sunday at 6 p.m. on KBC.
With the extraordinary challenge we face as a nation, we find ourselves in a predicament, a situation that finds us adjusting to a new world order. Staying at home to protect ourselves and the ones we love. Ultimately meaning that we have empty streets, many closed doors, and limited movement. Yet, it's in times like these that the Kenyan spirit of resilience, unity, and resolve has in the past come to life and emboldened us as a people. Even now, amid the uncertainty and gloom, there is hope. Hope that together we will overcome this challenge and rise again as a nation. And when we do, the magic of Kenya will be here to take us on a thrilling adventure. We will once again do what we love, take to our sunny beaches to revitalize, and we will once again go back to having unforgettable safaris. Without a doubt, we will be back to creating memories together over good food and company, hanging out with friends as we cheer on our favorite teams, and taking a break from the everyday hustle at the park or even with just a good night out. Together, we will overcome this moment, and we will be back to doing all the things we love doing most. Magical Kenya. The magic awaits.
Yeyote aliye na kinga hafifu mwilini yuko katika hatari ya kuambukizwa COVID-19. Hao ni kama watu ambao wanaishi na magonjwa kama vile virusi vya HIV, kansa, TB, kisukari, miongoni mwa magonjwa mengine. Lazima wazingatie matibabu ili kuboresha kinga mwilini. Lazima wahakikishe wamepata dawa ipasavyo. Tembelea kliniki yako au kituo cha afya kilicho karibu nawe kwa maelezo kamili kuhusu jinsi ya kupata dawa. Pia wasaidie jamaa na rafiki kupata dawa. Dumisha mawasiliano nao na ufuate mwongozo wa kiafya kutoka kwa kituo cha afya ili kujikinga na virusi vya korona. Pata habari kuhusu COVID-19 kupitia vyanzo vinavyoaminika. Piga 719 au bonyeza *719#. COVID-19 inazuilika. Jilinde, linda familia na jamii. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na serikali ya Kenya.
a disruptor of global economy, and why the government is worried about the rising numbers. Good evening, this is Business Insight. We are live, and of course we are online. My name is O'Brien Kimani, and this coming at a day when the National Treasury is warning that revenue collection is likely to dip by more than 300 billion shillings. But what are the figures telling us? Let us go to the screen and have a look at the global figures of coronavirus. The figures, as I told you, are not looking pretty at all. But let's see how the world is reacting and how coronavirus is affecting you. And as you can see, the number of infected cases still stands at 12,200,000 worldwide. Deaths are at 554,470, and this is about 4.5% of the total infection. Recoveries, this is a beautiful story, stands at 7,142,000, and this represents about 58% of total cases. Let's see how Kenya is faring compared to other countries. Let's first of all, oh, there you are. This is technology, I tell you. Let's go hide that one and bring this one up here. Let's try to drag it. There you are. So as you can see, the numbers today took everybody by surprise. As we stand now, the total number of confirmed cases stands at 8,975. Total recoveries, 2,657, and the number of deaths, 173. There is something interesting I want us to see about the global figures, and let's dash straight all the way to the US. It has become the laughing stock of the global community on how it has managed to deal with this crisis, because as you can see, the total number of deaths continue to rise, and as we speak now, they stand at 135,279 cases. Total number of recoveries there, also a beautiful story at 1.4 million recoveries so far. The most interesting thing about the US is that it has been recording significant numbers, and this is after they reopened the economy, with a number of states like Florida, you know, being forced to go back to lockdown measures. And let's see how that is working. And another interesting scenario here is Brazil. Remember yesterday, their president, Jair Bolsonaro, tested positive for coronavirus. This is the same man who about 3 months ago rubbished off coronavirus, saying that it was just another flu which was bound to disappear on its own. Today, Brazil is talking about 68,355 deaths, and the total recoveries there stands at 1.15 million people. That is the situation as we stand. It is your guess and my guess where the story goes from here. We'll continue to have a look at those figures and try to explain to you what exactly do they mean for you. The highlights are next.
447 people have tested positive. This now pushes our cumulative number of positive cases to nearly 9,000.
The worrying trend: 447 people test positive for coronavirus, the highest ever recorded in the country.
The Republic of Kenya submitted the candidature of Ambassador Amina Mohammed for the position of Director General of the World Trade Organization.
Eyeing the World Trade Organization Director General post, President Uhuru Kenyatta fronts Sports Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed candidacy. And a score for the Kitui County Assembly as the High Court throws out Governor Charity Ngilu's petition that blocked her impeachment motion.
Good evening and thank you so much indeed for joining us. My name is O'Brien Kimani. The coronavirus cases in the country nears the 9,000 mark after 447 new cases of the deadly virus were recorded, bringing the total case load to 8,975. This is the highest number ever recorded in a single day since the virus was reported in the country 4 months ago. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe, while speaking in Mombasa during the daily COVID-19 update, once again threw the COVID-19 ball to the county government court, saying no patient will be evacuated to Nairobi for treatment. Espirito Museo reports.
Saturday, the 4th of July, was a day Kenya was said to have reported the highest number of COVID-19 disease infections in a single day after 389 people tested positive from 4,829 samples tested. However, in just 24 hours and from a smaller size of 3,803 samples, 447 cases have been confirmed, a clear indication that the curve was still rising.
Today, we have recorded the largest number of positive cases since we first started reporting. Out of a sample of 3,803 tested over the last 24 hours, 447 people have tested positive. This now pushes our cumulative number of positive cases to nearly 9,000, standing at 8,975.
At the same time, 4 patients have succumbed to the coronavirus, bringing the total number of fatalities so far to 173.
This should not make us afraid, neither should it make us complacent. What we know is that if we take the measures that the Ministry of Health has told everybody, then we know that in spite of the many numbers, we are still going to be safe. But I'm also delighted to inform you that we have also discharged 64 patients from our hospitals, bringing now the number of recoveries to 2,657.
Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe, who spoke when he toured Mombasa County to assess their COVID-19 preparedness, cautioned counties yet to report cases against putting their guards down, saying they were equally at risk.
90% of our cases are asymptomatic. And if you look at even those who are critical, as of today, we have 40 people in ICU. 20 of them are on ventilatory support and 20 on supplemental oxygen.
The Health CS reiterated that counties have to carry their own burden, given that no COVID-19 patient will be evacuated to Nairobi for treatment.
County preparedness is critical to not only handling the pandemic, but also in ensuring that our country remains open. I would like to beseech that those who have not reached the benchmark of 300 bed capacity as a minimum to please do so for the benefit of the residents of the respective counties.
The country is projecting its infection peak from August through January. Purity Museo, Channel 1 News.
Let's now move to global trade, and Kenya has endorsed the candidature of Sports Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed for Director General of the World Trade Organization. In his endorsement, President Uhuru Kenyatta said Amina is uniquely qualified and understands the WTO and its processes, having chaired all its high-level decision-making bodies. Amina, who vied for the position in 2013, is seeking to succeed outgoing director Roberto Azevedo, who announced he will step down in August this year.
Sports Cabinet Secretary Ambassador Amina Mohammed is among 7 candidates vying to become the next head of the World Trade Organization. The CS joins a list of candidates drawn from Egypt, Mexico, Moldova, Nigeria, and South Korea. President Kenyatta expressed confidence that Ambassador Mohammed will enjoy broad support from countries across the world.
Minister Mohammed understands the WTO understands its processes, having chaired all its high-level decision-making bodies, for example, the Ministerial Conference, the General Council, the Dispute Settlement Body, as well as the Trade Policy Review Body.
The Sports Cabinet Secretary first ran for the position in 2013, where she lost to outgoing Director General Roberto Azevedo of Brazil.
Your Excellency, if I'm selected as WTO Director General, I will work collaboratively and inclusively with all members to help them reach convergence on reform and renewal of the organization to meet their needs and their aspirations.
Since the establishment of WTO in 1995, no African has headed the organization, with 3 of its Director Generals having come from Europe, while the other 3 have come from Oceania, Asia and South America. Meanwhile, President Uhuru Kenyatta on Thursday at Harambee House signed 6 bills into law. The bills from the Senate and the National Assembly included the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill of 2020, the National Drought Management Amendment Bill of 2019, and the County Government Amendment Bill of 2017. Also signed into law by the President were the County Attorney's Bill of 2018, Petition to County Assembly's Procedure Bill of 2020, as well as the County Government's Amendment No. 2 Bill of 2017.
Let's now move to the court. The High Court has allowed Kitui County Assembly to proceed with its impeachment motion against Governor Charity Ngilu. Justice Weldon Correal threw out a petition by Ngilu that had stopped her impeachment motion at the County Assembly last week.
Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu has suffered a major blow after the court declined to stop her impeachment motion. Ngilu had moved to court on June 24th in a bid to obtain orders to bar the MCAs from tabling her impeachment motion. Justice Weldon Korir on Thursday ruled that Ngilu's application had not met the threshold to grant her conservatory orders. The MCAs are seeking to remove the county boss on grounds of gross violation of the Constitution and the County Governments Act by failing to honor summons of the Senate. Elsewhere, Beatrice Mwende, the Naivasha woman who confessed to having killed her 4 children last month, has been committed to a mental institution. In a ruling delivered via video link Thursday, Justice Richard Mwongo directed that the woman held at Naivasha Maximum Prison be transferred to Mathare Mental Hospital for treatment. A medical report tabled by the prosecution early this week showed that Mwende was unfit to stand a murder trial. While homeowners at the controversial land in Langata, said to be part of Gong Forest, have been given a short reprieve after the Environment Court stopped any impending demolition until the 28th of this month. All parties involved in the dispute have been ordered to file their submissions before the said date, and that the case will run consecutively until the matter is concluded. Finally, 2 directors of Langata Hospital have denied 2 counts of stocking unvalidated and expired laboratory reagents. The accused include Dr. Ashoke Singh Matharu, Mafdal Amar Hassamji, Abat Cheruiyot Charles, and Beatrice Awino Ayoga. The suspects were released on a cash bail of 100,000 shillings for the director and operations manager, while the lab technicians were freed on 50,000 shillings each.
Mombasa County is among the leading counties which have attained the bare minimum of the 300-bed capacity requirement as the fight against the novel coronavirus shifts to devolved unit. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe, who toured Mombasa's Coast Provincial General Hospital, applauded county government for taking a bold step in the fight against the virus.
With Mombasa County falling over each other with Nairobi on the highest number of coronavirus cases in the country, the Ministry of Health top officials led by Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe were on the ground on a fact-finding tour to have a first-hand feel of how the county government was dealing with the pandemic. Mutahi toured Coastal General COVID-19 Isolation Center, which is equipped with over 30 beds. And with Mombasa County emerging as one of the lead counties fully equipped to handle the COVID-19 cases in case of any eventuality, Kagwe had some kind words for the county government leadership.
We need to put pressure on our county governments to prioritize health service delivery and to demand better services, the way it has been done here in Mombasa. If Mombasa can do it, then it follows that others can do it.
Kagwe challenging those counties which have not achieved the bed capacity to do so and employ more healthcare workers to reinforce the human resource in fighting the disease. Kagwe applauded the Mombasa county government on the measures it has taken to flatten the curve.
We are now dealing with community infections, and it is important that every county must have the requisite medical facilities to be able to handle all conditions. County preparedness is critical to not only handling the pandemic, but also in ensuring that our country remains open.
The health CS, however, warned residents to brace themselves for the worst following the lifting of restrictions, which will see local and international tourists thronging the tourist resort city of Mombasa.
Also like to thank the people of Mombasa for quickly adapting to the new order of life. Despite some challenges, we have worked together to manage the risk of infection even in the riskiest places like the Likoni Ferry and Kongowea Market, as we expand the house-based care program for some cases.
Mombasa has a total number of 1,663 active cases, with Nairobi leading the pack with 4,554 cases. Reporting for Channel 1 News from Mombasa County, I'm Michael Mondiga.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacist and Dentist Unit now claims a section of counties are harassing health workers who are demanding unpaid dues. KMPDU says the most affected are medics on the front line fighting the COVID-19 pandemic. KPMDU Chair Dr. Aroko Obegi said Secretary General Dr. Chibanzi Mwachonda further warned of a looming crisis in the devolved units if the affected health workers are not remunerated. They spoke while receiving medical equipment donations worth 20 million shillings from the M-Pesa Foundation.
Tunajua Kisii wametoa ilani, Mombasa walikuwa wametoa ilani. Kisumu ndio hao waliamua kupigana na wafanyikazi wa afya na madaktari, hawataki kuhakikisha kwamba wanaweza kulipa na kuweza kuwapandisha ngazi daraja zao ili waweze kurudi kazini na waweze kufanya kazi. Kwa hiyo Jumatatu tutaweza kutoa kikamilifu zile kaunti ambazo bado itakuwa hazijalipa mishahara, lakini tunawahimiza kwamba ili wafanyikazi wa afya waweze kuwa na amani ya kuweza kutibu wa Kenya, walipwe kwa haraka na pia waweze kupandishwa ngazi zao katika kazi ili wawe na motisha zaidi wa kuweza kuwatibu wa Kenya.
The government agencies concerned need to move with speed and implement this presidential package that was offered to the frontline workers, so that their welfare, as much as they are fighting COVID-19 and caring for the patients, their welfare equally must be taken care of.
You're watching Business Insight. Of course, we are live and we are online at O'Brien Kimani. That's my Twitter handle at KBC Channel 1. When we are back, we'll tell you something about the Kikopey, which is famous for nyama choma. Stay right here.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more, like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys. Coca-Cola. Taste the simple joys.
Next on
Ngoja niulize jamaa, nani hapa hivi amepimwa hivi majuzi?
Para kwa Mwangi, si ni 10 bob.
Sijasema kupimwa weight. Saa hizi kupimwa HIV ni haraka na ni bure.
Lakini kwa muda tukazungumza, alafu baadaye sasa kuja kumtaja governor. Bwana hii amana.
Uko na HIV si eti ni mwisho.
Wewe uko nayo?
Mimi nilishapima.
Afya bora, maisha bora. Jipime, jiinue.
Jumapili hii kwenye runinga ya KBC, ungana naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu kuanzia saa 1 hadi saa 2 asubuhi.
Ningetaka nikwambie, our Jehovah God, because the Bible says he is the same yesterday, today and forevermore. He is able to take you to a place of abundance. He is able to take you to Rehoboth in the name of Jesus Christ.
Kipindi ni neno la neema, ukiletewa naye Askofu Michael Wanderi wa kanisa la Christian Foundation Fellowship Kiambu. Usikose.
My friend, yani wewe unajua kutime sana unangoja wakati tu nimekaa kwa nyumba peke yangu pole pole, nimenaosha mkono nikule nyama yangu, saizi ndio unanipigia simu. Ulikuwa wapi wakati nilikuwa kwa duka huko naenda kutafuta unga nikuje nipike ugali?
Kupata unajua kutime sana, bonyeza *811 *815 hash. Bonyeza *811 *815 hash.
Utafanya hivi, itabidi hata wewe umengoja.
Nairobi City has experienced a tremendous transformation in water provision as part of the war against the spread of coronavirus.
Tangu tangi letu hapa nyuma yangu nimefaidika sana.
93 boreholes in 3 months.
We had quick interventions.
We had water drilled, sunk, running out in a record 2 weeks.
We have over 14 million liters per day that has been brought into the informal settlements.
Find out what this means to livelihoods and the war against the COVID-19 pandemic. A Chams Media production this Sunday at 6 p.m. on KBC.
Joel huwa tumi mtu. Safari hii mwambie ajiletee mwenyewe. Get out of my house. Get out. You will regret. Bwana Kisaka. Vipi? Nilikwambia uende zako na usirudi hapa kabisa.
Umechiki kama? Kama yuko eri, hata bibi yake pia yuko. Sasa wewe na Kasheshe Mob, nani amekuuliza story ya bibi yake? Mimi nadai kucheki tu kama.
Hiyo story tumeshoka nayo na tumeshoka nayo.
Na tena tuko na stress zetu huko. Unajua hivi?
Nishukue Mungu. Shukuriwa. Nilikosea kabisa kuoa. Unamaanisha nini? Kazi ni kuchekeshana huku tu. Hakuna kitu kingine. Ndio mapenzi hayo. Wacha ikae.
Let me whet your appetite a little bit. Kikopey area, located in Gilgil sub-county and only 40 kilometers from Nakuru town, is one of the popular sites for meat lovers that has flourished into a 24-hour economy. The site, synonymous with Nyama Choma and currently attracting investments sprouted about 2004 with only 2 kiosks and 4 butcheries. But even as the site continues to expand, crucial infrastructure such as social amenities is still wanting. Kamche Menza tells us the story behind Kikopey's unique growth.
Kikopey is a popular stopover for many who travel using the busy Nairobi-Nakuru highway. The township is synonymous with roast meat, locally known as Nyama Choma. Kikopey started off as a small nondescript location and by 2004 boasted of only 2 kiosks and 4 butcheries, but offering a much-needed service for travelers. Kikopey is a Maasai word loosely translated to mean a place where green turns white, adopted due to the diatomite found in the neighboring Elementaita and Kariandusi areas. But aside from its famed Nyama Choma, the area has witnessed tremendous growth, from trade in curio to multi-million shillings investments in real estate and hospitality industry, creating job opportunities for many. Business operators here, however, say the tremendous growth for Kikopey is due to its strategic location, coupled with the relatively cheap land prices as at the year 2000.
Kama kitambo ulikuwa ukiambia mtu plots huku anunue tuseme 1000 kutoka 30, 50, na shamba ulikuwa unapata wanauza 1100, 1200, lakini wanapuuza kwa sababu ulikuwa unasikia mtu akikwambia huko kuna mawe, mimi siwezi kuinvest, siwezi poteza bedhewa, watu hutumia hiyo jina, mimi siwezi poteza pesa zangu.
Mimi ni mkaaji wa hapa Kikopey kuanzia hiyo miaka ya 2007. Na tulianza hapa Kikopey kama ikiwa kidogo tu pale watu wa kuchoma nyama kidogo hivyo. Plot siku hiyo ilikuwa ya 50 by 100 ilikuwa shilingi 35,000.
Mashamba ambayo ilikuwa maybe imehaika ama kwenda juu sana, tulikuwa tunanunua kwa eka mbili shilingi 50,000, lakini ukiingia kwa dakika hii kuna mashamba ambazo nimefanya subdivision na kuuza kwata, na mimi huwa naziuza kwa shilingi 2,000,000 kwa kwata.
In spite of the area's economic endowment, it lags behind in terms of crucial infrastructure such as roads, street lighting, drainages and social amenities.
Maji ikimwagika kutoka Girgir inapitia huko juu ya mlima inatukuta hapa chini. Pale chini kuna ziwa limechipuka huko. Ziwa la maji. Watoto wetu wanagojeka malaria na migonjwa ingine ambayo inatokana na hiyo wadudu.
Iwapo wangefaulu kuweza kuitengeneza hii barabara ya kutoka Eremetaita kwenda Motaita hadi Jogoo, itakuwa furaha yetu.
Tukitengenezewa barabara itatusaidia, na ndio tuweze pia customer wetu kuwa inakuwa rahisi kuwaelezea mahali tu wanaweza kuja.
Despite not being classified among big attractions in the country, Kikopey continues to lure nyama choma lovers. Kamchemenza for Channel 1 News.
Interesting. A family in Moala, Machakos County is seeking medical and legal assistance for their son. He was run over by a road grader 5 years ago, leaving him with injuries that affected his bowel. 8-year-old Peter Mutua Musembi requires surgery to enable him pass stool and urine normally.
According to medical reports, the child sustained pelvic fracture and rectovesical fistula, making him unable to pass the stool and urine normally. His mother, Pauline Wanza, says they have been in and out of different hospitals since 2016, and having depleted finances, they now depend on well-wishers. The family is now calling for medical and legal intervention.
Tangu mtoto akanyangwe na tinga yake, alifanya nini na aliachilia mtoto kwa nini? Na mimi nataka kama inawezekana kesi ianzie kuanzia Monday tukiwa tunasonga mbele.
And more than 200 traders operating at Kasarani Market in Busia County are counting losses after their stalls were demolished by unknown people in the wee hours of the night. The businessmen are accusing the county government of selling the space meant for traders.
Sasa we are wondering kwa nini wanatufukuza hivyo. Tunataka watusaidie hivi, tunataka watuonyeshe mahali ya kwenda. Hatukatai kwenda, lakini once they give us the place, we are ready to go.
Meanwhile, over 30 families who are tenants of 2 flats in Umoja White House area in Nairobi are awarded lot after it emerged an agent they have been submitting rent to had allegedly been replaced without notice. The tenants claim a lawyer representing the landlord stormed their residences in the company of armed goons for allegedly failing to pay rent.
So it's like they came na bad intention, either ya kuua huyu mtu ama kumweka in a critical condition, kututhreaten sisi wengine tuogope to sign the contract.
Still in Umoja, the Nairobi Metropolitan Services has repossessed back to the public the Umoja Social Hall that has been grabbed for over 20 years now. According to Umoja Residents Association chairman, the fight to repossess the facility has seen many spend their days in police cells. In Lodwar, China Railway Number 5, a company awarded the tender to construct the roads in Turkana County by World Bank, has been accused of failing to pay 31 million shillings to Santon Trading Company for the supply of road construction materials. Santon Trading Company agent claim the company has not been able to pay its staff for a period of 1.5 years following the delay of payment from China Railway Number 5. In Kisumu, a sugarcane farmer is counting losses after a private cane miller harvested his crop and failed to deliver to the factory for crushing. John Okoth, who entered into a contract with Kibos Sugar, said the cane on his 9-acre piece of land was harvested on 7th June 2020 by the miller and left to rot in the farm.
Kwa sababu wamechukua loan yao, miwa yangu imekauka kwa samba. Nilienda kwa advocate, ameandikiwa barua, hawajajibu mpaka saa hii. Wamenyamaza, hata hakuna kitu wanasema.
Finally, Gikuyu elders have lauded the efforts by the government to limit the spread of COVID-19 in the country. The elders are now urging Kenyans to take personal responsibility and protect themselves by following the government laid down precautions. Ben Chumba, reporting for Channel 1 News.
People who choose to read their Bible daily, they become wiser and they become stronger than the people who don't read their Bibles. So when you choose hard, difficult things, you become a natural leader. He brings us to church to introduce to us another higher level of relationship that is called a faith relationship. You are also a solution to somebody else's problem. You cannot be the only problem all the time.
Join Pastor Jimmy Masharia on The Master's Touch this Sunday from 8 a.m. on KBC Channel 1.
Siamak has been most affected by all this. He was already terrified by the Wax Palace calamity.
Wasn't that you who taught me it isn't right to listen to what is not right?
Yes, it is not, son.
Tell me, what do you wish to say?
Whose death is near has the right to a final wish, Emperor. Even if he's a traitor of the land.
Say it.
On the next episode of Corner.
Was he complaining that I push him too hard?
Are you?
I train him the way you train a champion.
It might take him a while before he fits into Wanjala's shoes.
Lucky can quit if he wants to.
I used to be. Sikuzi nafanyia basi box.
Dirty things, I'm sure.
Don't.
Lazima kuwe na mtu wa kusema.
We should move on.
Can you?
Sure. You?
Sure.
Let's now shift gears to business. The government is working with stakeholders to streamline policies on micro, small and medium-sized businesses. Speaking during an empowerment program for Nairobi County youth and women groups, Deputy President William Ruto said the small and medium-sized enterprises are just as important as the larger businesses and need to be streamlined in order to exploit their full potential.
Tunaomba ukaweza kumbaliki kiongozi wetu DP.
Small and medium-sized enterprises employ over 70% of Kenya's working population. Deputy President William Ruto says it is the responsibility of the government to ensure policies support every sector of the economy in the country.
The same way we value our industrialization program and our manufacturing agenda, we also value our SMEs, small, micro, medium enterprises, because they employ millions of citizens, they give livelihoods to millions of citizens, and they make a difference apart from employing citizens across the country in Kenya.
He says small and informal businesses have the potential of employing more people if the sector is streamlined and formalized.
We can improve, we can change, we can align government policy with the requirements and the needs of boda, mama mboga, the market people, wajuuzi na kila mmoja wetu, ili biashara ile wanafanya, serikali tuwasaidie, waweze kupata mapato zaidi, ndio waweze hata kulipa ushuru ile wanatarajiwa kulipa na serikali.
With the reduced revenue streams, Ruto says formalization of informal businesses is critical in tax-based expansion that will in turn lessen the tax burden for Kenyans.
We formalize the informal sector. We are going to ensure that earnings to the people in that sector go up, and also taxes they pay to government also go up.
He is calling on the youth to embrace small businesses, assuring them of government support. Small and medium enterprises are among businesses that have been hard hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. Betty Kiptum, Channel 1 Business.
Revenue collection dropped by 300 billion shillings in the fiscal year 2019-2020, blamed on the impact of COVID-19. National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani says the most affected sectors were in tourism, hospitality and the transport sectors. Yatani says the impact is expected to be milder in the current fiscal year as economic activities resume.
National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Ukur Yatani says the situation has been worsened by the taxation measures that were instituted in April this year to cushion Kenyans against the impact of COVID-19.
Even normally before the onset of COVID, the revenue projections are sometimes not met because the collection of revenue depends on a number of things. Certain measures and certain predictions, certain also tax, which has been highlighted in the finance bill. So normally, it's not been very easy to collect 100%. But the situation has actually been made worse by COVID because of drastic reduction in economic activities, mainly in the hospitality sector, the transport sector. Import duty has also gone down, and generally a number of even profits by the various corporates have gone down. As a result of this, we are not able to realize the projected amount.
The CS says to plug the revenue shortfall, the government has realigned its expenditure plan, phasing out unnecessary expenses. Speaking during the launch of the report on COVID-19 impact on Kenyan households, Yatani said the disbursement of the 57 billion shillings economic stimulus package will kick off on a Monday next week.
We've come up with an implementation matrix and shared with the relevant ministries involved in the undertaking and implementation of this. The fund will be available as from Monday the 13th, because we are going to load our budget, the New Year's budget, today, all along the weekend, and the implementation will be ready from 13th of this month.
The funds announced by President Uhuru Kenyatta seeks to boost cash flow issues in the hospitality industry, SMEs and transport, among other sectors. According to the survey, a quarter of borrowers have approached lenders to renegotiate their loans, while 6 out of 10 people have reported having financial challenges due to loss of revenue. The survey further says 4 out of 10 Kenyans are having challenges paying their house rent on time.
The uptake of the initiative by the banks have not been fully embraced, because 23% in my view is still on the lower side. You are aware that following the support from Central Bank of Kenya, there has been engagement between the Central Bank, ourselves as Treasury, and the commercial banks.
Due to the heightened public awareness, knowledge of COVID-19 among Kenyans has increased to 99%, with the majority of them relying on radio for information on coronavirus.
Elsewhere, over the last 3 months, the question has been whether to continue enhancing measures to contain the spread of coronavirus, which some have argued was hurting economic activity. On Monday, President Uhuru Kenyatta eased travel restrictions in Nairobi, Mombasa and Mandera counties, as well as air travel. The measures were welcomed by some who said they would spur growth and reawaken sectors that had grounded to a halt, such as the aviation, transport and tourism sectors. Betty Kiptum spoke with Rodi and partner economic analyst Ken Washira on the impact of Tuesday's pronouncement by the President.
Thank you for staying with Business Insight. Now, on Tuesday, the President reopened the economy in a way by lifting some restrictions, allowing transport to get back on track, which is going to be happening for the air transport, that is on the 15th of July, and of course 1st of August for the international air travel, as well as the local transport has been opened. Nairobi and Mombasa are now accessible to everyone, really. Now we want to just find out what the impact of this reopening will be or will mean for the economy, considering that revenue collection had dipped immensely. To just have that discussion is Ken Washira. He is a senior associate at Rodley and Partner. Welcome.
Thanks, Betty.
What do you make of President Kenyatta's pronouncements on Tuesday?
I like the fact that the economy or areas of the country have been opened up. It's a good thing, but of course there is attendant risk that comes with opening up. The risk is spread of the virus, that's on the one hand, but on the other side there is a plus. We're hoping that areas that were starved because of the cessation restrictions will now open up. Industries maybe down in the coast, hotels at least will receive some tourists, and we are hoping also that these hotels will be able to implement the guidelines that have been put in place by the government and the Ministry of Health to curb spread of the virus. So at least even when people visit these places, they will feel safe and they will not be at risk of contracting the virus.
Okay. Now, for the transport sector, especially local transport, let's start there.
Yes.
We saw quite an exodus from Nairobi when people were just feeling the terminal, you know, just getting out of the city.
Yes.
This is definitely good for the transport sector locally.
Yes.
But what do you think is the impact now to the economy?
Now, there are two things to look at. You're looking at it from a different perspective. Actually, it's like three dimensions. So one dimension means that these matatus, of course, the owners will be able to earn something from the business. And again, also you're looking at the fact that for them to be able to move across the counties means that they have incurred some cost to meet the guidelines or to meet the regulations that have been put in place by the government. Then on the flip side, you're looking at the exodus. So the exodus could mean people who are either have been retrenched or either they haven't been home in a long time and they want to go home. But in terms of from a business perspective, it would be very saddening if these are people who have been let go from their work and are now just going home because either they cannot afford staying in the city. But again, it's a good thing because if these were people who are trapped in the city and are now able to go back to their places of work outside Nairobi, then it would mean there's free movement of labor, there's free movement of services, and hopefully even with now the devolved system of government, the counties will not be starved of professional staff or even labor, so to speak. Yeah.
Of course, apart from labor, there's also the issue of revenue.
Yes.
Now, the CS of Treasury definitely said, which is true anyway, that the revenue has dipped because of the cessation of movement.
Yes.
Will this do something to put something small in the revenue basket?
Yeah, hopefully, because the mama mboga back in the village now at least will be able to get someone who will come and buy. You know, if someone has a plot of land and maybe is thinking of getting into agriculture now, he'll require laborers, so that's a good thing. And again, if now this person has got capital to go and maybe invest or farm, it means now even people in Nairobi will be able to get food. You know, so that means that the economy, it will spur growth, or it will spur the economy, not growth necessarily, but at least it will spur or kickstart the economy. Yeah.
Right, that is for local transport or road transport. Now there is the issue of air transport.
Yes.
The local flights, 15th of July, international flights 1st of August.
Yes.
What will it take to regain the numbers that were?
It's a tricky situation because one, the aviation industry has to come up with ways to ensure that during travel, spread of the virus is controlled. You know, so I've seen other countries have specified that in each row only one person will sit, which again that has an ripple effect on the cost.
Definitely.
On cost of travel. So it means even people who will be traveling for seminars will not, people who will be traveling for leisure will not, because the cost may be prohibitive. But again, if, for example, I had an interview with with the CEO of Qatar Airways saying they're going to give passengers masks, face shields. Their staff will also be supplied with appropriate PPEs, which means now with that level of precaution, then people will feel comfortable that they're not at risk when they travel. So hopefully airlines will adopt these measures, and now passengers will gain or feel confident to travel without necessarily being exposed.
Right, but it's a tricky balance really, because Kenya Airways in their AGM, I think it was sometime last week, they said that they are not going to implement any social distancing really, that all seats will have to be full, because it's a choice between between the cost and the sustainability really.
Yes,
so
true.
I mean, what options are there?
You know, the thing is, even if they fly to different countries have also have regulations with respect to flights that are going into their country. So in as much as they may want to cut cost, they may have to face the possibility that they may not be allowed to enter certain countries without necessarily putting in place these measures, right? So I think it may unfortunately result in a cost effect on the price of a ticket. Most likely it will have to go upwards so that they can be able to meet these regulations. I don't think they'll be able to just say no social distancing with our plane, regardless of whatever country they're going to.
They might have to honor those regulations,
yes,
definitely.
Yes, and also don't forget they have to take care of their staff as well. Because they will not be able to fly to these destinations if their staff are unwell or if their staff feel exposed. So again, at the end of the day, they have to incur some costs, if not to protect the passengers, to protect their own staff.
The movement of people now definitely means something for the tourism industry, the hospitality sector as well. So how do you see this panning out?
It's good. As I said, it's a way of kickstarting the economy, you know, as in we start with the restaurants, at least waiters will get something, the proprietors will get something. It means even the hotels will order food. You see, so the farmers again will get something. So it's a whole chain. So I think it's a good thing, and the fact that now people have the right to, or have now been allowed to travel across counties, we are hoping to see hotels in Mombasa will pick up again. At least local tourism hopefully will have an impact, and again, even come August, hopefully even international tourists will feel confident enough that the measures that have been put in place are adequate to enable them to travel to the country and feel safe in the country.
Of course, across all these sectors that we are discussing, there are small and medium enterprises which had suffered immensely, you know, because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yes, that's true.
Do you think now, of the 3 quarters that were to close, you know, by end of last month, do you think some of them will now begin to see a rebirth?
Hopefully yes, because one, as I said, there's now at least free movement of labor, free movement of services, free movement of goods. So the cost implement that was there for you to move goods from Nairobi to Mombasa, that at least has been taken away. So, you know, because either transporters or businesses had to incur certain costs or undergo a certain process, which again, of course, has a cost implication in order to be allowed to move goods across the county or across Nairobi or to Mombasa. So hopefully with that being done away with, it would mean even the cost of raw material, transportation of raw material will be less. So hopefully that will give a fighting chance to these SMEs that were about to close down. So I foresee a situation where, yes, the SMEs may now have an opportunity to thrive, or at least to go back to how things were before COVID.
The president clearly put it that this was a choice between lives and livelihoods. And for about 3 weeks, 21 days, definitely, he has decided to reopen the economy.
This, he says, they will observe the trends now in terms of the infections of the virus.
Yes.
What happens after 21 days if the infections have shot up and the restrictions have to come back? What happens?
Now, unfortunately, if the restrictions go back in place, it would mean everything will pause. Nothing will continue. The steps that would have made towards reopening the economy means we'll have to backtrack, which is not necessarily a good thing. You know, one thing I've come to realize with this pandemic is that you know, previously people would think the economy is, yes, there's an impact on certain things, but people thought if there's drought, the economy will suffer. You know, if security is bad, then the economy will suffer. But now we've seen actually health is an important consideration when it comes to the economy, because we are in a health situation, or because of the pandemic, and our economy has stopped.
Right.
So if there's a spike in the infections, then definitely I foresee the economy being impacted, and being impacted negatively. Yeah.
Yatani said 2.5% is still tenable. Do you think it is?
It is. We are 6 months down, so I think it's possible. Yeah. And then we've seen how our economy is resilient. As in this post-election, we've seen how we've bounced back. The number of years economy has been impacted with drought, for example. Yeah. But again, it would mean we'd have to have a grip on the virus, and would have to have very strong, or the health sector has to be supported strongly in order for us to be able to attain the 2.5. Because again, if you're unable to treat the sick, or if you're unable to have a control on the virus, it means the economy will shut down. Yeah.
For the manufacturing sector, it's a sector that definitely a lot of opportunities have been seen, you know, to exist during this pandemic.
Yes.
Now that there's the international travels coming in, do you think that it will have an impact on local manufacturing?
It could even spur local manufacturing, because it means previously the raw materials were unavailable, or there was excess delay, and again, and the delay was as a cost implication on the availability and the cost of this raw material. So with air transport being opened up, hopefully the cost of raw materials will go down, and it'll be easily accessible. And now the growth, or at least what we've seen with the local manufacturing, hopefully it will be able to grow and continue. And again, also it will be a test to the manufacturer that we've seen come up, or the manufacturing that we've seen develop in the country, because it means they'll be able to compete with other manufacturers, both in the country and outside the country. So if they're able to compete and actually compete competitively, or offer affordable products, then it means actually we have a shot at being a manufacturing economy. Yes.
Well, there, when you say the affordable products, it rings in my mind that the cost of production in this country is pretty high.
Yeah.
So that might be a detriment, do you think?
Of course, it might be a detriment. And again, also we saw in the budget that the CS is proposing to tax, for example, things like solar energy, equipment for solar energy, which again will have an impact on the cost of electricity, which has an impact on cost of production. Yeah, so as I said, we're yet to see, but hopefully they'll be able to compete. Yeah.
Digital services tax is on.
Yes.
And the digital space has gotten like a mainstay. You know, if it was not strong enough, it now is stronger.
It's the new normal.
Yes, it is the new normal.
Yeah.
So is that definitely for the government? That is a new revenue stream.
Yes.
But what happens to the people who survive on the digital services?
So now I think I'm a firm believer of giving Caesar what belongs to Caesar. So it's either you shape up or shape out. Yeah. So they would have to come up with ways of strengthening the revenue streams, in order to meet this additional cost of tax, paying tax to the government. Plus, don't forget, these are players who have been maybe in the industry for a while without necessarily paying for this. So they've enjoyed a tax-free operation in a tax-free nature, or operating without necessarily paying tax. So hopefully now it's time to actually now give Caesar what belongs to Caesar. So yeah, so they've had that head start.
Right.
So hopefully they were able to put in structures with their cost savings for not paying tax. So now that will enable them to continue operating and still be able to pay tax.
Right, especially now when the traditional streams are low, yeah?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so now moving on into the future. So what do you foresee now?
one, I foresee people will appreciate that actually health has an impact on the economy.
Right.
Yes, so we will probably see more training of our health professionals, upscaling hospitals, training doctors, nurses, even probably we will see doctors have more say when it comes to matters that are related to the economy. So hopefully that is what I foresee in the future. Again, also I foresee technology, ICT having a big impact on how people operate moving forward. Yeah.
Right. So as we come to a close, what are your closing remarks now?
My closing remarks would be, as people now have the ability to travel across county, they should keep safe. Of course, I'm a firm believer that agriculture is the backbone of our economy. So hopefully we'll be able to secure, the government will put in place policies that will enable us to secure food, and again also concentrate on the health sector.
Concentrate on the health sector.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for speaking with us.
All right, thanks Betty. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. That was Ken Wachira. He is a senior associate at Rodley and Partner, and we have been talking about matters, the reopening of the economy by President Uhuru Kenyatta on Tuesday, just what it means for the economy. And for sure, he has said that health needs to be considered more strongly when it comes to its effect on the economy or its impact on the economic stability of the nation. Well, continue watching Business Insight. My name is Betty Kiptum.
Elsewhere, Huawei Kenya and partners have organized an online job fair as they seek to hire more than 40 professional ICT workers. ICT Principal Secretary Dr. Jerome Ochiengi, who attended the job fair, said Kenya will continue to expand the IT infrastructure across the country to facilitate firms to transfer jobs online, as well as enable Kenyans to seek online jobs.
During this COVID-19 period, the country is more dependent on ICT than ever before. Kenya is in a relatively good position thanks to the investment and progress in the last 10 to 20 years by the government, private sector and other stakeholders. Existing infrastructure, online services and e-government requires talent to build, maintain and support them, whilst also advancing the new developments for Kenya to utilize technology to manage the COVID-19 pandemic, recover faster after the pandemic and to speed up the country's long-term growth.
We set up our East Africa Training Center soon after we started business in Kenya, which has trained more than 5,000 people. We have hired thousands of local people during that time, and on average, 2,000 Kenyans are working on Huawei projects directly or indirectly.
Currently, over 80% of the population are covered by 3G network and able to access multiple government services online, while also doing business, transacting money and getting health information online.
Huawei has been working in Kenya for more than 20 years. We are proud to have helped build much of the mobile networks, government fiber network, even M-Pesa, which are all so crucial today during this pandemic.
We actually are in the process of even rolling out 4G network across the country through a program we are calling Project Loon, whereby we'll be using balloons as our base stations.
The government is calling on the private sector to transfer some of the workload online to keep workers employed and reduce cases of massive job losses.
The future of work is online. That work has now moved and our work now will be available online. And we are better placed if we embrace that and we prepare ourselves through skills development.
The government is seeking to expand the Ajira digital program to reach 5 million youths across the country.
Through the critical partnership between the government, the private sector and academia, the focus is now shifting on training Kenyans to utilize this infrastructure to innovate and develop new ideas, create business opportunities, and critically create employment for millions of Kenyans.
Huawei says setting up the East Africa Training Center in 2008, they have trained more than 5,000 people.
The licenses for coffee traders have been extended by 1 year, with the Nairobi Coffee Exchange Management Committee also getting a 3-month extension. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya has faulted the Capital Markets Authority's recent similar extension, saying the move was unprocedural and lacked a legal basis. Munya says it is only his office that has the power to oversee operations of the coffee sector.
A row is brewing between the Ministry of Agriculture and a section of coffee farmers on one hand against the Capital Markets Authority. At the center of the tussle is the Capital Markets Coffee Exchange Regulations 2020. Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Peter Munya forced the Capital Markets Authority recent move to extend coffee traders' licenses that had expired last week, saying the directive lacked legal backing.
You put a notice in the newspaper and tell people continue trading, and they don't have licenses. How does that happen? In law, you have to carry out you have to give them proper legal instrument for them to trade, which is a license. You can't confer through a newspaper notice.
To this end, Munya has gazetted extension of coffee traders by a year and the National Coffee Exchange Management Committee tenure by 3 more months.
What I've done this morning is to sign a new gazette notice extending the licenses for all the traders in the coffee exchange, giving them a reprieve so that the trading can resume. I'm empowered under the Cross Act to do that. That's what I've done this morning. And also extending their license. I've extended the time for the committee that was running, running the coffee exchange. I've given it 3 months.
This, as Kenya Coffee Producers Association, called for suspension of implementation of the new coffee regulations until all structures and systems are put in place, faulting the recent suspension of this week's auction, noting that it had cost farmers.
We requested the government to do the following to save the coffee farmers and the industry at large. 1. Suspend the Capital Markets Coffee Exchange regulation until all structures and systems have been put in place, including amendment of Crops Act 2013.
He hinted that pricing system could be reviewed to remove the minimum bags that can be purchased at the auction that is currently at 25 bags.
Why shouldn't I go to the coffee exchange and buy 1 bag of coffee to go and use wherever I want to do with it? Why must I be forced to buy 25 bags minimum in the coffee exchange?
To enhance transparency, marketing agents are required to disclose the coffee volumes and prices for deals made at the coffee auction. Benson Rioba reporting for Channel 1 Business.
TransCentury has applied to be delisted from the Nairobi Securities Exchange. In a decision, the firm terms is in line with its strategic initiative that includes debt profiling to match cash flows. The company cites reduced liquidity in the market, saying the new strategy focuses on attracting funding to unlock growth.
In August last year, Kikopey was delisted after the successful acquisition by Ruby Energy SAS, and just last week, national carrier Kenya Airways shares were suspended from trading in a process that could see the airline's stock eventually delisted from the booze as the government targets to renationalize the carrier. On Thursday, TransCentury seemed to add on to the growing list of firms exiting the Nairobi Securities Exchange. The firm says reduced liquidity in the market has driven it to apply to be delisted from the Nairobi Securities Exchange. The board of TransCentury passed a resolution recommending to the company's shareholders to consider and approve the delisting of the company from the NSE. The firm says it has made significant progress across all its businesses in delivering robust commercial opportunities and in debt reprofiling, which has seen over 90% of the debt successfully restructured. This in turn has strengthened the balance sheet and allowed more cash to be redirected to working capital. In a statement, Chief Executive Officer said, while we have seen liquidity reduce in the capital markets across the region, we have also seen an increase in funding that is available for private non-listed businesses, especially in the sectors that we focus on, and have received interest from potential financiers who would provide capital that is structured in line with our strategic plan. In addition to accessing funding for the company, TransCentury Board and Management envisions delisting of the firm will enable it make quick actions on strategic interventions and accelerate growth. The TransCentury Board has scheduled for an extraordinary general meeting later this month for shareholders to review and consider the proposal. Betty Kiptum, Channel 1 Business.
Jambo wa Kenya wenzangu. Mimi ni Mheshimiwa Mize. Ninalotaka kuambia ni kuwasihi ya kwamba corona iko. Na ili tupigane nayo na tuishinde. Ukikohoa, tafadhali kama una ile ya kujifunika ile tissue, weka mkono hapa. Kama ni chafya yako acho na itabakia pale pale. Kama ni kukohoa yako koholea hapo. Na nakwambia tukizingatia sheria na tuitii, hii corona tutaishinda na nchi yetu tutarudi kama kawaida.
Please don't tell me you shaved off my eyebrows.
Either one.
Can I take you somewhere?
You are so going on a date with Will Trainer. It's too booby. Get the red dress out.
I don't want to go in yet. I just want to be a man who's been to a concert with a girl in a red dress. A few minutes more.
Loving can heal.
I promised my parents 6 months, and that's what I've given them.
But that was before me.
I want him to live, but only if he wants to live.
We can't just let this happen.
You can't change who people are.
I mean, what can you do?
You love them.
And if you I don't want you to miss all of the things that someone else could give you.
I can make you happy. I have become a whole new person because of you.
Do you know something, Clark? You are pretty much the only thing that makes me want to get up in the morning.
Wait for me to come.
Welcome back. Dealers in second-hand clothes have welcomed President Uhuru Kenyatta's announcement lifting the ban on importation of used garments, commonly known as mitumba. According to the Mitumba Association of Kenya Secretary General Nancy Njoroge, the ban had put 2 million livelihoods at risk. Critics have maintained that promoting the mitumba clothes business curtails the growth of the local textile industry.
I'm Regina Manyara and you're watching KBC Channel 1. Now, government has been rolling out different economic stimulus packages, amid rising cases of COVID-19 and what we term as the domino effect. One among these measures is the lifting of a ban on second-hand clothes, commonly known as mitumba. To take us through this conversation, just looking at what this lift of this particular ban has on the textile industry is none other than the Secretary of the Mitumba Association of Kenya, Madam Nancy Njoroge. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Regina.
Now, that particular lift of that ban on second-hand clothes, what we refer to as mitumba, what's your take on that?
First, we're very grateful to our President, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, for at least hearing our cry as mitumba traders. This industry has many people working in it, over 2 million people. That represents 10% of the extended labor force, according to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics. So that is significant in terms of people who are employed within the industry. So we are very happy that it's been lifted. We welcome it. And we are sure that many of the people working within our markets are excited and are looking forward to the resumption of the importation of used clothing.
Now, you've said that this is this industry, rather this subsector, supports 2 million people. How much how much does it contribute to the GDP?
Annually, according to Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, again, that is about 13 billion. Which translates to slightly over 1B every month, which we believe is quite significant. We are ahead probably of other industries.
Now, what or how did, that value chain, the 2 million value chain that you spoke of, how did they handle the 2.5 months or 3 months looking at it when the ban was in place?
It's actually been very crazy. We've depleted our stock. You find that many people, many traders, and especially those who open are no longer coming into the markets across the country. So the person who only has income for or capital for one bale is probably already eating up the capital because you have to leave. What is the likelihood of them coming back into the market? It might take some time. The people who come into the market with only bus fare in their pockets, but they come knowing that if there is a container being offloaded, they'll be able to maybe carry that container, or they'll be able to walk into an importer or a broker's warehouse, ask for one bale, go sell the bale, come back, pay the money later, and take home something, you know, because they've earned some money in the day. Those opportunities are lost now. And we are also worried that many people are likely not to even resume business when we are finally allowed to bring in the containers.
Now, for your industry, or rather this subsector, are you confident that you're ready and capable to adhere to the laid down protocols, you know, health protocols in light of this COVID-19?
Yes, we are, because actually the request to refumigate, we've already tested that with a few containers that we were allowed to clear, and the ones that I spoke about that had been loaded up until 7th of April. So we will be happy to comply with the protocols. And if there is any difficulty, I'm sure, because this is really an issue of health, we'll be able to maybe discuss with the government and arrive at an agreement.
The question is, do we need second-hand clothes?
I would say we do, because mitumba has always existed even before it was imported. And this is not a dumping ground, because second-hand clothing has also been embraced by many other people across the world, including the US itself. If you travel to the US, you'll find that they have what you call thrift stores. The thrift stores sell second-hand clothing. These thrive alongside the ones that are being sold in the malls. If you go to the UK and across Europe, you also find charity shops. Do people go shop there? Yes, they do. Is anybody dumping on them? No, it's not being dumped. If you go to Asia, Asia has aggressively taken up the use of second-hand clothing.
And some of the proponents of this particular ban have said that that should have remained in place because it is eating away into, you know, the growth of the textile industry, a time when government is really focusing on manufacturing and industry. From where you sit, what's your take on that?
One, the Mitumba Association of Kenya is in full support of the government's agenda to revive the textile industry. However, Rome wasn't built in a day. Two, when you look at the Kenya Integrated Household Survey, it indicates actually that the spend in Kenya, and especially in urban areas, people buy more new clothes, or they spend more on used clothes than they spend on the second-hand clothing. So the question really should be, which new clothes are they buying? Are they buying the imported new clothes, or are they buying the locally produced clothes? And if they're buying the imported new clothes from China and Turkey, then the discussion should be more about how do we then allow Kenyans or change Kenyans into buying the locally manufactured new clothes. We believe strongly that actually the second-hand clothing can work or run hand in hand, because we are catering to two different levels of people. As you're aware, Kenya's minimum income level is 13,500 monthly. Take rent out of that, take school fees, take food. Are you really left with enough to cater to buying new clothes? If you're running that kind of a household, the answer is no. So Mitumba actually gives people the opportunity to clothe their bodies, which means they remain dignified. And that's not to be forgotten.
Is there an opportunity that you're ready to explore to ensure that, you know, we scale up our own consumption of our own Buy Kenya, Build Kenya?
Yeah, there were exhibitions, quarterly exhibitions, to actually sell what you're talking about. So it worked. I used to see on TV that people are flocking to buy that stuff, and most of it used to be sold out I think by the third day, if the exhibition is about a week or something like that. So rather than have it on a quarterly basis, then it would be encouraged that those in the EPZ talk or partner with the government or ourselves or I don't know who else, and have those workshops, but exhibitions, but probably now on a monthly basis. As I said, Rome wasn't built in a day, so we need to see how quickly then the revival of the textile industry, how long that is going to take. Personally, I would say that the two can work hand in hand. And as we try and improve people's livelihoods and people's income levels, then we can create a very strong competition. Actually, the idea is we need to create a strong competition for mitumba. And mitumba, I can tell you, will slowly die out by itself.
Now, this ban has been lifted. Do you think it's going to be, is it a long-term move? Do you think the lifting of the ban on second hands is long-term or short-term?
Yeah, maybe we could do that. Yes. But I honestly feel that, you know, there is always an attack on the industry without really looking at the statistics. Or even if we look at the statistics, we are not, we don't want to be honest with ourselves. We don't want to have very honest conversations about why, one, mitumba, two, who is a real competitor of the revival of the textile industry. Because you will kill the mtumba, but what will happen? These others will still actually rise above more strongly to compete against the locally done product.
What dynamics do you think are going to come into play in as far as, you know, second-hand clothes business is concerned?
So if Kenyans are only spending 2.5% of the total household spend in Kenya, what does that tell you on clothes? We don't spend as much as probably those people out there. Because what happens out there is that they buy today, it doesn't look good anymore, or the lighting was not right when I bought it, it's taken back. Not throw away. Yeah, it's not bad quality, and it's not, no, it's not throw away. Yeah.
So the issue is not quality. Mitumba, the issue for you is not quality.
It's not quality. It's actually better quality than most of the other stuff that is bought. And I think for us, what we need to aim at as a country is ensuring that we actually produce that quality and at the right price for everybody to consume, including the person living on the minimum wage.
There you've had it. Nancy Njoroge, Secretary, Mitumba Association of Kenya, saying and answering the question, does Kenya need second-hand clothes, or rather what we refer to as mitumba? From where she sits, the answer is yes. And why? She says that the presence of mitumba within, you know, the local market is not here to prohibit growth of the local textile industry, but rather supplement it, because looking at the different cadre of people, there's some who can afford new clothes and others can't. So it is a matter of dignity, clothing yourself for dignity. That's what she has to say. So we'll be keeping tabs on the development of the mitumba industry, given that currently it supports 2 million people and contributes quite an amount of money as far as the GDP is concerned. I'm Regina Manyara. You're watching KBC Channel 1 Business.
The never-ending saga of second-hand clothes. To other stories now. Microsoft team is upgrading the virtual platform to accommodate larger group for meetings and classes. As part of the new upgrade, meeting organizers who want to have more people watch a presentation or discussion will soon be able to bring together up to 20,000 participants at a go, but for a view-only meeting experience. Details of these and others in our corporate briefs roundup.
These upgrades are part of new features in Microsoft Teams to make virtual interactions more natural, engaging, and ultimately more human. The firm's new features offer 3 key benefits for those at work and in education. And for more interactive meetings where attendees can chat, unmute to talk, and turn on their videos for real-time collaboration, Teams meetings are growing to support up to 1,000 participants, up from a maximum 250 participants currently. Microsoft says the new features announced will be available for users from next month. Elsewhere, a global report on corporate taxation has identified Kenya as one of the leading countries currently fostering tax reforms for economic growth. The report singles out Kenya as one of the global jurisdictions with a generous accelerated depreciation corporate tax policy alongside Italy, Papua New Guinea and Cote d'Ivoire. Kenya Revenue Authority Commissioner General Githui Mburu says further engagements and reform work are underway as part of the national effort to tackle base erosion and profit sharing. Finally, Stanbic Bank's flagship women's proposition Dada has today handed over 90 hand-washing stations to the Mombasa Coast General Hospital through its partnership with the Rotary District. The distribution of the hand-washing stations will be done around the sub-counties in the coastal area and will play a key role in stopping the spread of the coronavirus.
Wash stations will go a long way to be distributed to the high traffic areas where a lot of our customers do interact with people. And by keeping their hands clean, keeping the hygiene clean, we are able to reduce the interaction and bring down the level of infections for coronavirus.
From each hand washing station, it is estimated that there will be at least 1,000 washes a day.
On now to sports. Makueni County Government has been urged to increase its sports budgetary allocation so as to encourage participation in sports by the disabled. County Sports Committee Chair and Care Ward County Member of Assembly Isaac Munyao acknowledging that the county had done considerably well by sponsoring several para-sports teams in the past. More needs to be done so as to promote sports among the disabled in the county.
Kwa awali tumeona county government ya Makueni ikisapoti hawa watoto sana, sababu katika Makueni County tuko na Paralympics ambayo uchezwa na hao watoto ambao wako na disability, na pia tuko na sitting volleyball ambayo hao watu wameweza kucheza mpaka hata nchi za nje. Kwa hivyo ni jukumu langu na ni ombi langu kusii governor wetu na pia county assembly ya Makueni ili tuweze kuongezea pesa ili hawa watoto ambao ni walemavu waweze kuzidi na kuendelea na kucheza na pia kuwatia motisha ya kuendelea kucheza na kuingia katika michezo ipasavyo.
Wakati wa coronavirus vijana wako idle sana. Tukianza game kama hizi tunakuja tunacheza hapo, tunakuza talanta zetu. Bado pia tunaongea mambo muhimu kama kujengana, kama vijana vile tunaanza ma projects hivyo tupate mapato.
Well, this is what I would call a full brief from general stories, business to sports. And this has never been complete without a look at the weather. And the gracious lady of the weather outlook is on screen. Michuma, where are you? Oh, there she comes. You see, I mean, it's been tricky for the last 1 week. I mean, you don't know whether to dress warm or to let loose. And you were telling me something about wildlife and climate change. What were you talking about?
Oh, Brian, did you know that animals too are affected with the cold weather conditions just like you? They do. This could cause them pneumonia, but then they take care of themselves the way you would take care of yourself. At the same time, Narok County has been experiencing wet conditions day in, day out. Yes, it is a plus to the Mara River because this will be of great benefit to the wildlife during the dry spell.
I mean, who else knows this kind of stuff apart from Irene Muchuma? Well, she's the lady of the environment, and she likes it that much. And something else about Irene is that she's a great fan of wildlife. Well, I'm not sure, but I know I like cats, I like dogs, and I like horses as well. She needs to tell me more about the three. That's all for today. Remember, she's coming up next with the weather outlook so that you don't miss dress tomorrow. And of course, remember also, after her, who is coming up next? It's O'Brien and Kimani. With Inside Government tonight, we look at the arid as well as semi-arid lands and what the government is doing to upscale development in that area. I have to leave. Have a good night.
Good evening, everyone, from wherever you are. Time for us to have a look at how the weather will be in the next 24 hours. A very warm welcome. My name is Irene Mchuma Odim. Nairobi area, Central Highlands, the Lake Basin region, the northwestern parts of the country are currently experiencing scattered wet conditions. This, as the rest of the country, is covered with scattered clouds, and that is how it will be for the rest of the night. Tomorrow we'll wake up to a sunny and cloudy morning in the capital, equally in Nyeri and Meru. There'll be showers in Mombasa, Malindi and Lamu. There will be rains in Garissa, and there'll also be rains in Machakos and Kitui. Wet conditions will be experienced over the western parts of the country, though a few areas, and also over the northwestern parts of the country. A total different scenario over the northeastern parts of the country where it will be sunny. In the afternoon, we're expecting changes to come in, and especially over the Lake Basin region and western parts of the country. These will be showers accompanied by thunderstorms over several places. At the coastal strip, after the short sunny intervals, there will be a continuity of showers, and areas to be affected include Lamu, Mombasa, and Malindi. The northeastern parts of the country and southeastern lowlands will experience sunny conditions. Temperatures in the capital will range between 23 degrees Celsius and 12 degrees Celsius. The highest temperatures across the country will be experienced in Mandera at 35 degrees Celsius. For you in Voi, we're expecting highs of 30 degrees Celsius. That is how weather is shaping up here in the home country. Let's now cross the borders and see how it will be in other parts of the world. Do have a good night and see you tomorrow. God bless.